hot and bothered because I just went for a walk with my dog and my kids, and it's really, really hot out there in the Australian summer heat. Anyway, I made it back and we're all still alive, and I think at the moment I might have 4 little boys who I know very well who are also watching me upstairs. So, hello guys! What I'm doing today, in fact what I'm going to be doing the next couple of days on these live streams, is I am demonstrating my daily music making practice, which I do, if I do nothing else, I always do this, and it's called a splurge. Now this is just the start of my music production process. There are a lot of other pieces as well, but I start at least one idea every single day. And obviously I don't finish all of those ideas or even the majority of those ideas, but that's okay because this is my practice, and there are a number of different rules, like not focusing on quality at this stage in the process, just doing what comes out, going as quickly as possible. And that's what I'm going to do today. At some point in the future I will start streaming some of my later sessions, as we get further into the creative process, but at this stage I'm just going to be live streaming my splurges, as I call them. So here I've got a very simple template. Diva, Omnisphere, and these 2 channels are for this little beauty which Santa kindly brought me this year. So this time I'm going to do the same things I did yesterday and start with Omnisphere. And what I like about a lot of Omnisphere, these presets, is that they kind of instantly create an atmosphere, and that it's kind of easy to get something. But what I tend to do is I just randomly choose a preset. Let's try that and see what I can do with it. Okay, cool. I'm just going to turn this. Hang on a minute. I know what's going on. I've got to change these outputs. That one. And there's no diva there. Yep, there we go. And then change this to that. And I think we should be good to go. Yep. Okay, so there we go. If you're watching, say hello in the comments. Okay. A minute. I know what's going on. Now I've got to change this so that I can hear it. That and that. And that should work. There we go. Okay. So what I usually do is I start with 1. Hello. Yes, see me splurge for the first time. There you go. Windlift Alliance. Hello as well. So what I usually do is I just start with a random preset. As you saw, I just kind of spun the wheel of fortune, just randomly pick something, and then that inspires me to actually play something, and then that gives me the tempo. So okay. Hello JS. Oh, it looks like we're going at the old favourite of around 120. Okay, so I'm sorry to hear that. Windlift saying his hard disk died. It's a shame. Sorry about that. It's a real nightmare when that happens. Make music on a phone. There you go. Solution. Problem solved. You can still splurge. Right. So many countings have I got? 1 bar, okay. Start again. And again. Okay, that'll do. Again, just speed is of the essence in this splurging business. Just make sure that that's going to pick up at the start of the beat. There we go. I'm not going to worry about quantizing anything else. Well, let's. I like the swing. So the swing, you can't see this, but I've got one of these. This thing here, and that's an ERM multi-clock, and it's got a signal coming, because this doesn't have any MIDI, so it's got a signal from an audio signal coming from. What's it got an audio signal coming from? Oh yeah, coming out of this plug-in here. Here you can see the audio signal, and it's just a horrible. It sounds like robot language, and it's telling the multi-clock what tempo this is going at, and then I've got this coming out of a lead here, going into here, which is basically telling it what speed, when to advance, is when the clock is advancing. Okay, so the great thing about the multi-clock is that you can, if you've got a machine like this, which doesn't have kind of swung quantizers, you can actually have a setting on here where you twist the knob and you can shuffle it. Okay, so I'll just demonstrate that for you. Okay, so this is no swing, and then you can do it all the way I think about here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to record, do a bit of a le jam, as they say, although I'm sure they don't. A D-fam jam. Don't make it too long. It's like, I could twiddle this thing all day. It's so much fun. It's just insane. But I won't. Okay. So by the way, I didn't set this up beforehand. This was just the last thing that I was working on a totally different track at a totally different tempo, and it just came up, and it seems to be quite good. So I'm just going to go with it. Okay. So I didn't set that up beforehand. It was just the last setting that I had. I was working on something early this morning, and that's what the pattern was. Because it's a different tune, a different time, and something different will happen. I'm just going to go with the same thing. But why not? If it was something that was decent. So I mean, even if it wasn't something that was decent, to be honest, because we're splurging, remember, so quality isn't a problem. So what am I doing? That's all set up. Record. Okay, that will do. There we go. So what I was doing there, I'm just creating a part that just kind of creates a bit of shape to it. So I have a question from Windlift, which is a personal question, which is fine. I always wanted to ask you something. Are any of your parents Bengali by any chance? Because when I googled your name, it was showing Mike Mukhopadhyay, which is a Bengali surname. Well spotted. So yes, I'm half Bengali and half English. I was born in Calcutta. So there you go. My family name is Mukherjee. And when we emigrated, so I was born in Calcutta and I moved to the UK when I was about 18 months or something. But when we emigrated, my dad decided to put the Sanskrit version. So Sanskrit is a bit like Latin, so it's a really old version of Bengali. Put the Sanskrit version of the name on the form. So now forevermore, my name is really hard to spell and really hard to say. And really annoying because everybody always not you, by the way, when you go to shops and everything, everyone's like, ooh, that's a funny name. Ooh, that's a funny name. How do you say it? Where's it from? And it's like, you get used to it, but it's like one of those names. So yes, Michael's easier is what I usually say. So I think I must have said yes, Michael's easier about 5,000 times in my life. So there you go. There's the backstory of Mike Monday's name. And now you know why I've called myself Mike Monday, because I can tell you what, Mukhopadhyay is not the ideal name for a DJ. Because could you imagine spelling it on flyers? Anyway. Well, there we go. Windlift is Bengali too. 150 kilometres away from Calcutta. Well, there you go. So, yes, fantastic. Say hello to the old country for me. I've only been back, twice, I think, since we left. But anyway, back to the music. What am I going to do now? I think I'm going to do a bit more on this, because that was just a little hat thing. So let's see what we can do with this. Let's pause, mute that. There we go. Alright, what's going on here? There we go. Let's try that. Why is that so... Okay, so I'm not understanding why that is so quiet. Maybe it's here. That's why. I had the EQ on the in. Let's just turn it off. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the setting so that it on here, so that it goes slower, because it's on 16. So let's change it to 8s and see what happens. Right. Try this. Ah. Change it again. Trouble is with the problem with trying to make a tune on this thing is these pitch knobs here are extremely fine, okay, and often it's difficult to get a kind of melodic thing. That's why it's a drum machine more than it is a music thing. Sometimes it can happen quickly and sometimes it doesn't. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for something much more simple, and I'm just going to start with a let's go with it. Was it pitch to noise level? Let's try this. Okay. Hang on. Back to the beginning and right, there we go. Let's just get that in. I find that when I'm splurging, if I start faffing a bit too much, I just stop what I'm doing and do something else. And I was faffing a bit too much there, so this is when I'm splurging. So let's go like that. Oops, I forgot to start it at the wrong point, so I've got to advance this to the proper thing. Now it will start. So there we go. Out of tune. Right, that's in. Let's go for something. So the natural thing to do here for me right now, without too much effort, would be some form of... So what I want is to... Those two notes. I want to kind of hear what I can do with those harmonically, kind of thing. So, I don't know. Anything. Let's try something. What's that? I don't know. What was it? Something's coming soon. Yes, it is fun. Tell you what, when you let go of quality, you start having fun. Hang on a minute. Okie dokie, don't forget to turn off the record. Up there, Michael. Alright. Just want to do a little bit of a to this. It's a bit yawn worthy. Although, strictly speaking, I am focusing on quality now, but I just want to have a little play, see what it can do. There is something wrong with me where I always anticipate the beat. Always. Without fail. Okay. what I tend to do with things like this is I make it as off as I can. Like, I'm actually not trying to make things right quite often. I'm actually trying to make them as wrong as they can be, because that is more interesting and more unexpected. And when you're actually in the process of making music, quite often your quality control stops you pushing boundaries. So you end up making music in this little box. Yeah, and it just ends up sounding really like obvious. Okay, so what I will do at this stage of the process is often just go and make things sound kind of a bit out or a bit weird, because even if that doesn't work, it will give me an idea for something that is sort of slightly different. Okay, because that's just what I do. So that's what I often will do in the Splurge. I'll push things out rather than keeping them in. Oh, that's why. All right, now we're cooking. Let's go. Just going to record that automation here. It's very strange. What happened there? All right, if you're going to play that kind of game with me, Sonny Jim, I'm going to have to... How do I do this? I can't remember now. Change instrument. You will not defeat me. There we go. All right, let's try that. And there we have it. that I'm going to call a wrap for today. Because that's enough for a Splurge. I mean, it could even be less than that. I didn't really need to do that in a bit, but I'm glad I did, because it kind of I got excited. Now, when I'm splurging, usually I don't get excited. Usually I don't particularly like what I'm doing, but I just do it anyway. I just keep going, right? So, and often times in a splurge there will be bits where nothing's happening. So, for instance, before I put this kick and snare-ish part in there, I was struggling. I was like, ugh. And so I tried for a bit to find something. Nothing happened, so I just tried something else. Yeah, and then I just kept going. I didn't let that bother me. I just kept going and put this in, and then I get excited about that. Now, the point is that it doesn't matter whether I like this or whether I don't like this, because at the end of the day, I'm splurging every day. So at some point, things are going to happen. And it may well be the case that I decide that I don't like this at some point in the future, because that is just the way it is. Things come and go. Your opinion changes all the time, even with music that isn't changing all the time. So basically the approach I take is it's always more fun when you do something that you think you like and that you enjoy, of course, but it's not necessary. You don't have to love what you're doing in order to make progress. You just need to know what to do next. And knowing what you need to do next does not require you loving it. In fact, sometimes when you love it, you don't know what to do next, right? Because you love it. So quite often, developing the ability to move forward even when you're not loving it is really important. But anyway, today we had some fun. What was it? I think it's kind of... Yeah, it's F minor. That wasn't F minor that I just played there, but anyway. Okay. So I did end up enjoying that little thing there. And what I will do now is I am bouncing out the audio, which is very, very important. And then I'm not listening to this splurge for at least 7 days. And I will listen to the audio file, not the DAW file. And I'll put that into my Splurge folder. So I'm just going to show you my automatic music machine, which is my thing. And here she is. Hi Shane, no problem. So this is my Splurge file. As you can see, I haven't listened to any of these yet, so I've got to listen to them. And basically I will go through these and decide which ones I want to take forward, and the ones I do want to take forward I will mark with a label called, you can't see that, can you? Let's move this over here, a label called bookmark. Yeah, and then I will move everything into the sketchbook, and here you can see the ones with yellow labels are the ones that I've bookmarked over the time that I've been. As you can see, the loads of them I haven't bookmarked. So I do a lot of splurges that I'm not interested in taking forward. So they go into there, and then the ones that I actually am working on go into here. Now, usually this column, so this is the second stage, the discover stage. So this column doesn't usually, it's not meant to have this much in there. So anyone watching this who's done the leap and knows the automatic music machine will say, why have you got so many in Discover, Mike? You told us to only keep blah, 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 blah. What I'm doing at the moment is I'm testing another kind of way of using it by working on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 tracks at the same time. I mean, not exactly at the same time, obviously, but cycling through 16 tracks just to see what happens. So I'm kind of testing something about the machine. But usually you would only see, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 in here. And then the next stage is draft, next stage is done, next stage is release, and there is released. So basically, has it come in yet? Oh, I've got to turn on my Dropbox. So I've got it set up rather cleverly. So I'll resume syncing. Hopefully it doesn't break the... There we go. So I've got it set up so that when I bounce something into my Dropbox folder, it will automatically create a card in here. But you'll just have to believe me on that because it was not syncing. Anyway, that is the splurge for today. I will be back same time tomorrow and same time the day after for another Splurge. And I'll probably do a session earlier in my morning, so that will be a different time. But basically what I'm going to do at the top of my YouTube channel is I'm going to basically keep a schedule, like a playlist schedule of the upcoming live streams. So basically subscribe to my channel. Seems to be some kind of helicopter outside. Subscribe to my channel. Come and see when I'm live streaming. As I said, at the moment I'm just streaming Splurges, which is the first stage of my process. At some point in the future I will start streaming some of the later stuff, because I don't only Splurge, it's just the thing I do every day. So I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been great to hang out. I will see you very soon. Happy splurging, and onwards and upwards.